What is up, goal getters? Welcome to Conversations with Tobile, where we have deep and meaningful conversations for real impact. So today I felt let's talk about something that's very profound, especially at this time of the year. You know, it's September. We're about to go into December. A lot of people had plans when the year started to kind of like, oh, where am I taking this year? What am I doing this year? And some of those goals haven't been achieved, and they're just going to be something that you postpone for the next coming year. But how can we systemize our lives in such a way that sets us up for success for the coming year, for 2025? Now, I am very fascinated with systems and what makes systems work. I've been studying, like what is it about systems? Because at the end of the day, being part of a system is not fun, but from a results-driven perspective, it works. So what is it about a system that works, that causes productivity? And particularly, I looked into the school system. So when I looked into the school system, I think one of the most profound thing that I found is the timetable. And I feel that's the holy grail of a school system. That's the whole holy grail of a functionality of the entire school system or school structure. And when you try to incorporate the timetable into your life, I feel a lot of things happen. One, you realize that you're more consistent. Two, you get to do the things that you like, not every now and then, but on a consistent basis. So I make the example of the school system to say that we were required to be in class on a Monday morning at 7:30 studying math. Now, nobody wants to study mathematics on a Monday morning at 7:30, but because it's part of a system, it's part of a structure, we are bound to follow it because that's what the system or that's what the structure says. Now, imagine if you could have a timetable for your life, which is step number one of the 3 steps that I'm about to talk about. So step number 1 is set a timetable for your life. This timetable looks like, what am I doing on a Monday morning? What am I doing during the day on a Monday? What am I doing in the afternoon on a Monday? And then you have that written down, literally like a timetable. I have put the structure in this video for you to kind of see and get an idea. And I'll put a link on the video for you to download it and be able to use it and like just work with the template. But overall, what you do is you say, what is it that is what are my priorities at the moment? And then you put that into your timetable. You put that in a way that is going to allow you and set you up for success for the coming year. That's step number 1. You need a timetable. You need something that's going to systemize you, something that you need to follow, whether you like it or not, because sometimes we depend on motivation in order to do things. And motivation alone cannot carry us on a consistent basis. Hence, sometimes you end up falling off on your plans and in your goals because motivation alone cannot sustain you for that long. So that's the first step, step number 1. And then step number 2, I think is very important as well. It's physical exercise to stay active, whether that looks like walking, jogging, hiking, mountain climbing, whatever that looks like for you, but do something on a consistent basis that's going to get your heart pumping, because that releases certain hormones that set you up for productivity. It clears your mind as well. It helps with clarity. So physical exercise is very important. Take care of your health, take care of your body, eat well, prioritize your health, your mental health, your physical health as well, which is very important in terms of setting yourself up for success. Because if your physical standpoint is not in place and you don't feel like your temple, which is your body, is taken care of, it's not easy to move forward because your body drags. You become less productive. You realize that you're not inspired to wake up and take action because you're not physically working out. So I think working out is really important. And like I said, like I put it in the calendar, to say Monday you're jogging, Wednesday you're jogging, Friday you're jogging. And then in those 2 days, maybe you're lifting weights or you're just walking, whatever that looks like. But to incorporate physical exercise in a form that is very repetitive, just like the school system. At school, we had sports days where we'd go outside and like soccer, whatever, they would divide us based on interests and capabilities, but we would engage in sports. And that was part of the system, because without sports, then we can't get in class and be productive, right? So physical exercise is very important. The third one is for you to have reminders, have triggers. So you know how in the school system we had the bell in the morning at 7:30. Like for me, I'm just going to go personal and tell you about my experience. Like when I was in high school, because I lived a few kilometers away from school, and like I would walk, I don't even know how many kilometers, but I would walk to school, right? And then sometimes I would be late for school and the bell would ring while I'm walking to school. I tell you, a lot of us would run. We would run because the gate is closed at a specific time. When the gate is closed, should you be found outside the gate, you're going to get a hiding. That was my school. Like, we would get a hiding. If you are late for school, they close the gate and they deal with you personal and individual. So setting triggers is what I was talking about. Set triggers for yourself, to say, when the bell rings, I do this. When the bell rings, it means this. For me personally, at the moment, I have set my trigger for my content creation. I say every time in the morning, whenever I'm having tea or coffee, that's my trigger. So whenever I am drinking tea or coffee and I'm not filming, that trigger goes off, that alarm bell goes off to say, oh, but this is the time to be shooting content and we're not doing that. So setting triggers, it can look like an alarm for you, an alarm system to say, from this time to this time, this is what I'm doing. And then your alarm rings at a specific time. But to set triggers for yourself is systemizing your life. You're creating systems around your life. You're creating a set routine around your life, which I think is very important. And the last but not least is review and improve. What you don't measure, whatever area of your life you don't measure, you won't be able to grow it because you don't know how far you've come from where you initially started. So measuring your life and measuring your progress in life is very important. If your goal is to lose weight, how will you know you've lost weight if you do not measure? How will you know how far you've gotten if you do not measure? So measure yourself, track your progress. It's very vital that you look at where you are and you kind of track, how far have I gotten so far and how far do I still need to go? Those are my 4 steps for how to set yourself up for a better 2025. Listen, if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. You're the only person that can make it happen for you. Love yourself enough to start. Love yourself enough to list your goals down. Love yourself enough to say, listen, this is my life. I'm going to take charge. Because if you do not have a systematic approach to your life, you leave it up to someone else to decide for you. Before you know it, 4 hours of your day, 5 hours of your day is wasted on doing what? Nothing. Just scrolling social media. Whereas if you had a systematic approach to how you live your life, you'd know between this time and this time I'm doing this. That way you don't rely on motivation to get you there. You rely on a system. I've had mornings where I go and I jog and it's raining. No one likes to jog when it's raining, but the system says I need to jog. The system says on a Monday morning I need to be running. And I go out and run. Whether I feel like it or not, some days I wake up and I don't feel like doing anything. I'm not inspired to do anything. I just want to stay in bed. But being part of a system says I need to wake up and do something. So systemize your life. It's your life and no one's going to do it for you. You need to put yourself up and prioritize yourself. Put systems in place. Systemize your life. Follow those systems. Be consistent in those systems. It's not going to be nice. If it was nice, everybody would do it. It's not going to be easy either. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But you need to be consistent. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the generation that comes after you. You owe it to your future self. Imagine your life 5 years from now and you haven't done the things you've been said to do. The things you knew exactly if you had done, you would have changed the trajectory of your life. But then you don't do them. You don't have systems in place to do them. You don't have the discipline to do them. And all you live to do, to tell, or the only story you live to tell is, during my time, my dream was to do this. And then you just tell that story to your grandchildren, where else you could have taken one step at a time every day to eventually get there. And you would have gotten there. So let's start 2025 with a bang, but we start now. We start in 2024. We start at a time where we feel the year is ending. We should not be doing anything. We should not be starting any project. We should not be starting with anything. We start now. That way we set ourselves up for success for the coming year. So I hope this message resonates with you, and I hope you do something about it. Like, I don't want you to watch my content and just consume it and pass on. I want you to be able to apply what I say. And this is the platform where we apply things. You know, we learn together, we grow together. You write it down and you're kind of like, what can I do about my life right now? What are my goals? What am I trying to achieve? Okay, what step can I take tomorrow in order for me to get there? And then we start there. From me to you, it's nothing but love. I'll see you on the next video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please click the subscribe button below. It's nothing but love. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.